Speaking of making me laugh, he's the star of The Big Bang Theory on CBS. Jim Parsons back on the show. Jim, how are you this morning?
This isn't really a laughing show today, is it?
No, and that's why I'm glad you're on, because
I can't help you with this, Dan. You've driven this show into your dramatic hole, and here we sit.
How many Big Bang Theory shows have you done where it's a serious topic?
None. That's why we're still on the air. Come on.
Have you ever given a best man speech at a wedding?
No. I'm very grateful to have never been close enough to anyone to be a best man.
But
why are you talking about that? I walked away for 2 seconds.
I have no idea. Jim, you listen to the show. You know how this works. I am random.
There's been some consistency today, more so than usual. It's been a good show. A good show.
We had a listener who talked about he has to give a speech this weekend.
Got it.
And I said, if you're going to give one, less is more, and don't get drunk.
Bravo to both.
Yeah. But,
that goes for anything, though, doesn't it?
Be brief and don't
really
get drunk.
Goes for anything.
Have you given a commencement speech or anything important?
I did. You're absolutely. I went back pretty early on, a couple of years into Big Bang, and I went to University of San Diego, and I gave a commencement speech, and that was really horrifying.
How nervous?
That was almost as nervous as I've ever been. I've had that. And when I recently did Saturday Night Live, are the two most nervous things I've ever. The two most nervous things I've done since I was like a teenager, like in my first play in front of high school or something.
But is there part of it that you like? I'm nervous every time I go on TV. When I do Football Night in America, there's an element. When you take.
Well, you're a stooge, Dan.
I've been called. Okay. How would you feel if Letterman called you a stooge, Jim?
Not good. Not good.
Would you want to fight Letterman?
Here's the thing, though. I think he likes you.
He does.
Don't you? I mean, he likes you. You wouldn't have been back if he didn't like you.
Well, he hasn't invited me back since calling me a stooge, Jim.
Well, that's very recent.
How many times have you been on Letterman?
6 or 7.
Have you ever?
I like it there, but that is the most, or was at least the most nerve-wracking show for me.
Well, he doesn't talk to you before the show or after the show.
No, you know what though? A lot of them don't actually.
Leno does.
Jimmy
Kimmel.
Leno would set up camp in the dressing room for a long time, which was actually very nice.
Jimmy Kimmel does.
No, I've been on Kimmel twice. I've never seen him before the show.
Oh, well, we had drinks. They used to have a bar set up there at Kimmel's show.
You know what? That's probably the difference. I don't drink, and so I don't leave my dressing room. Well, again, what did I say? Don't drink and keep it,
He's Jim Parsons. He's Sheldon on The Big Bang Theory, but he's here to talk about something else. It's called The Normal Heart, Sunday, this weekend at 9 Eastern on HBO. Serious topic here.
Yeah, it is.
Explain to people why it was so important for you to get involved in this movie.
Well, the story is, the movie's about the very beginning of the AIDS crisis in New York, back when not only did nobody know what it was, but all the people who could really help, like government and the medical community, were being real slow about it. It had a lot to do with because they didn't want to deal with what seemed to be a gay issue, or it was easy to shunt aside because of that. And I did the Broadway production of this back in 2011, and I have to be honest, I got involved strictly because of I wanted to act in something that summer. It did turn into, obviously, a more personal thing for me, and I've been very proud to carry on with this and go into the HBO version, which will now hopefully get seen by many more people than could see the Broadway production. But it really was kind of just things working out in the best way for my life, just by going, I want to act in something. It's funny, though, it really all kind of connects to everything you've been talking about today, this whole generalizing of people. And once you dehumanize people in a way where you label them or make assumptions about them, it allows you to make very inhumane decisions about them. I don't know. I think.
I was in New York at the time.
You were?
Yes, in mid-'80s.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I was there early, 80, 82, 83, 84.
You were in the thick of it then.
Yes, and I remember I had a friend who was gay who talked about this, and he said, we won't hurt you.
Did he really?
Yeah, because the feeling was it was such paranoia if you touch somebody.
Absolutely.
That I somehow... nobody knew anything about
Yeah.
this, and it was just there was this paranoia in New York
Yeah.
City of people who had AIDS.
Yeah.
We didn't know the difference between HIV, AIDS. I mean, just kind of it didn't really explode until Magic Johnson. You put a face to it, a
That made all
famous
the
face.
difference, didn't it? It really did.
How did that affect? Do you remember when Magic had his press conference?
Oh, very much so. I don't remember how old I was because I don't remember what year that was now, but that was a monumental moment. That took it from, I think for a lot of people, that took it from being a gay disease to a disease that was really catastrophic and had to be dealt with. Not that it wasn't before Magic said something, but again, changing people's minds, changing perceptions or whatever. It's very funny. Bomani made that wonderful point about once you know who people are and it's not just a label or whatever, then that's when things drop away. And there's a line in The Normal Heart where it says the same. One of the main characters says, "They won't help us until they know who we are." And but what's funny about this with the Sterling stuff is it's hard to. He knows some African Americans. He's been exposed to different types of people. It's an exceptional circumstance in many ways.
I love that can be a blanket, like that's a blanket hall pass. I have friends who are black, and I have friends who are gay. Oh, well, then you know exactly what they're feeling.
Yeah.
We're talking to Jim Parsons, Big Bang Theory, and the movie is this weekend, The Normal Heart, 9 Eastern on HBO. Julia Roberts headlining this, isn't she?
She's such a great gal. I enjoyed meeting her. She was one of those people that it's very few. You see people and you're like, I've seen you, and it's exciting to meet you. She's one of the few that I got stars in my eyes when I met her. She is as sweet and as warm and wonderful as she can be. Have you ever met her?
I have not.
You are missing out.
So I hear.
Yeah.
I would like to have met her during Mystic Pizza or Pretty Woman.
Were single?
Yes.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. She's still a good person.
Well,
you could still appreciate her mind.
I do like meeting good people. I do.
But not as much as dating them.
If I was single.
Yeah.
Is it required, mandatory that if we talk to somebody who's gay, therefore they're going to have an opinion about Michael Sam coming out and being drafted? Like, do you feel that?
No, it's not required.
It's not.
Look, I am in a unique position because I happen to be a gay person who loves sports. And so, and I actually touched on this on Letterman, but the Michael Sam thing is a big thing for everybody, just in a humanity type way of progress, and let's keep moving on. I think for some of us, or I can only speak for me, it was a real nice moment of, I think I watch sports or have watched sports with that tiny little mustard seed of doubt and trepidation that, like I said on Letterman, something at some point was going to happen. And for my own sake and for my own sake of anger and justice, I'd have to go, well, I'm not going to watch this anymore, And that moment was kind of the exact opposite for me. Not only was he drafted, but like I said before, a lot of some of the nasty comments that the general public was tweeting or whatever was getting a lot of vociferous backlash from media types who I respect and read.
Would you have done the documentary? Would you have done the series with Oprah?
Well, here's the thing on that. I have two distinct thoughts on that. Number one, just because I even 7 years, or going into the 8th year of Big Bang, I would not let a reality crew follow me around because I just don't think I could work properly under those conditions. But that is just me. And the other thing I would say is, I'm 41. I think that people Michael Sam's age and whatever, they've grown up around so much more of that, and they've had there's a camera in your face everywhere you go these days, no matter who you are. So I don't think it affects them as much as it would me. I wouldn't have recommended it, but it really wouldn't have been for me to say. I really do think that if he'd have done that, I think he would have probably done his work fine. I just, he knows him. I don't know him.
Do you have the summer off?
I have it, off and on. I mean, I've been doing a lot of press for this, and then for Normal Heart, and then there's always, in the glorious life of an actor, 1,000 different things hanging over that if they go, you may have to drop everything and fly to Georgia at a moment's notice. You never know.
Well, hopefully we'll see you this summer.
I would love to see you.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Go to dinner with you.
Yeah, it would be heaven.
Be just, my wife and, your significant other. Just
That
not the
would be
Danettes.
nice.
Yeah, not the Danettes.
No, well, I welcome them, but I leave that in your hands. No, we should do that.
I would love to. I would love to. And good luck this weekend, Jim.
Thank you very much.
All right, it's Jim Parsons, The Normal Heart. That'll be Sunday at 9 Eastern on HBO. And Julia Roberts headlining that.